The Supreme Civil War, an origin chronicle of Empress Omotola Mina Maiowa, daughter of the Golden Sands ocean goddess Temitope, recorded by Iruwoi, last archivist of the Dawn Courts, witness eternal.
I have watched empires rise like tides and vanish like breath on glass, but nothing marked the world the way she did. When the Supreme Civil War tore the Ojombo Empire apart, I was already old, already sworn to memory rather than sword. I stood in the Hall of Nine Banners as sister turned against sister, as the inner kingdoms burned their own borders to deny one another passage. We called it a war of succession. That was a lie. It was a war against Temitope. The nine inner kingdoms, Alaorin, Keshmar, Konsalut, Brasa, Yejin, Moroa, Tethkal and the Golden Coast, had lived for centuries beneath the matriarchal covenant of the Golden Sands ocean goddess. Each queen ruled her land, but all bent the knee to the Ojombo Empress, who alone carried Temitope's living favour. That favour was fading. The Golden Sands ocean no longer flowed as it once had. Its tides slowed, its whispers dulled, the high seers argued, the generals postured. And in that uncertainty, ambition found its teeth. The Supreme Civil War began not with armies, but with silence. Entire temples stopped receiving visions, priestesses dreamed of drowning in gold. The oceanic giants withdrew beneath the sands, sealing their cities. Trade faltered, faith fractured, and when faith fractures, kingdoms bleed. It was during the third year of that war, when 5 inner kingdoms had already fallen into open rebellion, that Omotola Mina Maiowa was born. I was there. The birth of the goddess air. The night she arrived, the Golden Sands ocean did something it had not done since the first dawn. It rose. Not in waves. There are no waves in that sacred dust, but in columns of spiraling light, lifting grains of gold into the sky like stars torn loose from heaven. Every seer in the empire fell to their knees. Every bell rang without hands. Her mother, Empress Maiowa the Unbroken, screamed once and then laughed. I remember that laugh. It was not relief. It was recognition. When the child emerged, she did not cry. She breathed, and the ocean answered. Golden mist coiled around her small body, not burning, not choking, but bowing. The mark appeared on her chest immediately, the sigil of the living tide, Temitope's own seal, believed by many to be myth. The high seers wept, the generals backed away, and I, old brittle sworn to witness, I understood something that would take the empire decades to accept. Open quote, Temitope had not chosen a ruler. She had returned. Close quote. The child was named Omotola Mina Maiowa, but in the secret lexicons we recorded her as Temitope returned, a title never meant to be spoken aloud, because gods who walk invite wars that never end. A child raised in ashes. Omotola did not grow in peace. She learned to walk while cities burned beyond the palace walls, learned to read while messengers brought news of fallen queens, learned restraint while the inner kingdoms sharpened knives behind false smiles. Yet she was different. Where other children reached for toys, Omotola reached for currents. I saw her once, no older than 6, calm a violent surge in the Golden Sands ocean simply by standing at its edge and placing her bare feet into the dust. The sand obeyed her the way breath obeys lungs. Temitope's power manifested early, but not violently. It came as command without effort. She did not dominate the ocean, she was recognized by it. The Supreme Civil War raged on, fueled by old grudges and new fears. Many queens believed Omotola too dangerous to live. Others believed her too valuable to fall into the wrong hands. Assassins came, they always failed, not because she killed them, but because the world refused to let them reach her. Weapons rusted, paths collapsed, memories failed. Temitope's protection was subtle, terrifying, absolute, and then came him. The man from the Forbidden Land. No record names the land he came from. We only called it the Veiled Expanse, a territory beyond the oceanic giant dominions, where the golden sands turn black and sound itself bends wrong. It was forbidden not by law, but by instinct. Nothing good returned from there, except him. He arrived without escort, without announcement, walking directly into the imperial capital during the height of the Civil War. He wore no sigils, carried no blade. His eyes reflected light incorrectly, as if the world hesitated to be seen through them. He asked for the child, not the throne, not the war, the child. I have crossed the unwalkable, he said calmly to the High Council, to see if the goddess truly walks again. The seers panicked. The generals reached for steel. Omotola, barely 13, stepped forward herself. I watched her then, not as a child, but as a tide assessing a shoreline. "You are not afraid of me," she said. The man smiled, not kindly, not cruelly. "I am," he replied. "That is why I came." From that moment on, fate bent around them. He did not kneel. He did not challenge. He observed, questioning Omotola's interpretations of Temitope's will, speaking of balance beyond matriarchy, of cycles even gods could not escape. He knew things no outsider should, the ocean's original binding, the price Temitope once paid to rule both sand and soul. He became her only true challenge, not with force, but with truth sharpened like a blade. Many believed him an enemy, others a prophet. I came to understand him as something worse. Open quote, a necessary contradiction, close quote. The end of the war, the beginning of the Empress. The Supreme Civil War ended not with a final battle, but with Omotola's ascension. On the day of 9 kneelings, she walked alone into the Golden Sands Ocean and did not sink. The ocean rose around her, lifting her high above the gathered armies. Temitope's full power ignited, storm-light in dust, thunder without sound. She did not destroy the rebels, she unmade their reasons. Old grudges dissolved, false loyalties shattered. The ocean stripped ambition bare and left only truth. Those who could not endure that truth fled. Those who remained knelt. Thus, Omotola Minameowa became Empress of the Ajombo Empire and its 9 inner kingdoms, not by conquest, but by inevitability. And the man from the Forbidden Land? He vanished, not defeated, not slain, waiting. Epilogue. A witness remembers, I am ancient now. My hands shake, my memory does not. I have watched Empress Temite, Omotola, grow from goddess child to ruler, from ruler to legend. I have seen her command tides, silence giants, reshape law itself. Yet I know this truth, etched deeper than scripture. Open quote. Her greatest trial has not yet come. Close quote. Because somewhere beyond the golden sands, in lands where the ocean does not reach, a man who fears gods still walks. And gods, no matter how radiant, must one day face those who refuse to kneel. Thus ends the origin chronicle. Thus begins the age of the living tide.